everyone. Welcome to the Metaphysical World and Beyond. My name is Nancy, and today, of course, I have another great guest, and we're going to bring him on. His name is David Beck. So, hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Great. I'm excited to have you here. David, I usually start off by letting my guest talk a little bit about himself or herself to kind of like let our listeners know kind of who you are and how you got to where you are now.
Okay, great. Well, my name is David Beck, and I am a certified fearless living coach, choreographer, dance instructor, producer, and most recently a published author through Insight Publishing. My book is Conversations on Success, and very exciting, embracing that opportunity. And what I do is I support people in mastering their emotional fears that keep them stuck from living a life of success and abundance and absolute freedom. So, yeah. What else?
Everybody panics when I tell them. Talk a little bit about yourself. My big question is that you've done a couple different things, and actually you've been very successful with them. And a lot of people say a fearless life coach, because most people are, they're used to listen to an intuitive life coach or a life coach, but fearless life coach makes a big difference. And you touched on just a tiny bit. So what I'd like for you to do is go into a little bit more detail about what a fearless life coach does and how you go about doing it.
Okay, well, great. What I do, fear does not go away. Fear is a part of life. I don't know if it really ever will go away in a lifetime. Maybe. However, what I do is I support people in becoming aware of all the little subtle ways that fear keeps us back from connecting with another. We all have emotional hurts and upsets. We all have our past, if you will. I know my past and what I come from is a life that one would not have wanted. However, we all have choices. We all have choices to either stay a victim in life or be a victor. And what I do is I help people become a victor and get out their story, get out of blame, get out of judgment, get out of beating themselves up, and really shifting that, becoming aware of what they want in their life and how to really work toward it in a place of intention. We all get trapped in our expectations, if you will, in the frustration of our lives, the frustration of the day, the anger, that type of thing. And those are expectations. And expectations set us up for disappointment. And sometimes we're not aware of it. We're unconsciously aware that we have a silent contract with somebody, and, someone didn't call me, and I'm expecting them to call me, and here they didn't call me, and I'm running throughout my day frustrated, angry, and probably in blame, maybe beating myself up. And so what I do is, again, I help people become aware of that and then shift it and get out of the disempowering fear responses, if you will, and live a life of empowerment and choice.
When people hear the word empowerment, a lot of times, David, they tend to think, well, I can't do that. Nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's going to listen to me. And I just don't trust myself to do that. So when people start to do those things, those head games with themselves, and say they would come to you, how do you help them overcome that?
Well, in the aspect of I can't, even before I entered the Fearless Living Coaching Program, and before I started on the venture of self-help, if you will, in my dance classes, I didn't believe in a word as I can't. I've always believed in I can do anything I put my mind to. It's just a matter of what are the steps And you know, sometimes we're not aware, and we'll say, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Well, really, we do know, and we can know. It's, are we willing? Are we willing to take the steps necessary to create the life that we want? Because we can. If that was a word that I could remove from the dictionary, I would. There's a quote, and I'm going to kibosh. So many people have said it. It's, if you can dream it, if you can see it, and you can believe it, then you can be it. And it does come back to, maybe we don't trust ourselves. Maybe we don't trust. You know, I have clients that don't trust themselves and are not acknowledging the skills that have brought them through life to this point. And they beat themselves up and they say, no, I'm not as good as everyone sees me. I know that was me. I know in being a choreographer and a dancer, it was about the audience. The audience's approval, the choreographer's approval, there's approval. Never then in the past was it, well, David, do you approve yourself? Do you approve of yourself? Are you yourself? Are you loving the moment? And acknowledging myself, you know, as a dancer, we're trained to look in the mirror and, you know, how high can I hit my leg and how many turns and, they're doing it better than me, and it becomes a competition and comparison, and that's all fear. And for me in the past, I lost the love of dance. I lost what my soul was yearning for because of fear. And so I became aware in the program and with my clients of all those subtle ways when it's in dance and even relationships about how we stop communicating with one another. We look at how perfect we want life to be rather than, well, what about just connecting with life? Where are we connecting in the moment? You know, we get so worried being fear about what the future is going to bring and where we're going. And then we're missing out in the present moment. What we're doing right now, how we're acknowledging ourselves in the steps that we're creating toward our life dream. You know, if your listeners out there have a dream, it's attainable. It's, are you willing to take the steps? And sometimes we make those steps so much harder than they are. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I totally agree with that. You know, with all the readings that I do, one of the biggest things, because, you know, I call myself an intuitive life coach, which is just a fancy name for a psychic. But, you know, that's what I'm doing is coaching them during my reading times to help them understand that there's other ways to look at things and there's a more positive way to look at things. And don't keep going backwards to all of those old hurts, pains, fears, angers, and guilt that you've got so deeply locked inside of you, thinking that that's all there is. Because there's a whole bunch more. Like, you know, open your eyes, get out of your pity party box, and let your foot, you know, feel a little difference of that energy. And if it feels good, then, hey, put both feet out there, and then the rest of your body. You know, and people go, you mean I can do that? It's like, well, are you tied down in that box someplace? Because if you're not, you can get out of it.
Absolutely. And, you know, and I love that your title is an intuitive life coach. Because as well, for me, in my coaching practice, intuition plays such a key role. And I support my clients in practicing how to tune into their intuition and to follow their voice within and their calling, if you will. And it's just amazing. I love it.
I do too. You know, and the thing that I really find out, you know, when I'm doing the readings, David, is that most of this fear or hurt or pain or anger that they constantly live in has been drummed into them since they were children.
Yes, our conditioning. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part is because that's what was drummed into them as children, and they have children, they then try to drum it into them, you know? Yeah. And I tell everybody, you keep everybody in this vicious circle, in this vicious pattern. And, the same fears that you have, you're going to have your kids having. And, all you got to do is ask yourself, do you want your kids to be in the fear that you have been in?
Exactly. With my clients, one in particular comes to my mind. However, being that I teach children through adults and teach dance, and I incorporate my life coaching there. However, I do as well work with youth with life coaching over the phone or in person. And if they are a youth, I request that I work with the parent. And one client, as a matter of fact, comes to my mind and came to me because they wanted their child, their youth, to have coaching with me, and as well, she's a dancer, and gave the suggestion of working with me, and went for it. And then from there, the man came on board. And then we started doing couples coaching, and their relationship, their personal marriage has shifted so much, and it's amazing. And they have testimonials on my website, and it all worked through the opportunity of the daughter wanting coaching. And it turns out that here now, through them, their whole family is shifting. Not only is it affecting, the couple and them individually, it, is as well working with their children, and then their children, and then their children's children, and it's the pay it forward philosophy and belief, and I love it.
Yeah, and it is.
To be in the experience of, and you had brought up the past, and, it's so much of it is ingrained in our brain because, we grew up and it was almost like, and it is like, well, I have a choice to actually believe that or not, or I have a choice to stay within that experience or choose something different. And for me, it's not about the difference between therapy and life coaching. And my understanding is, for life coaching, I don't care about the past. I do. We're not going to stay there. We're going to discuss it. We'll talk about it. And yes, there is work with the past. However, let's move forward. And yet we do get the opportunity of going back to the past to uncover those hurts, if you will, to then work the magic of forgiveness, which I've got to say, it is my favorite part of coaching. Is the forgiveness process. Of course it's important to forgive another. However, it all comes back to forgiving ourselves. Right. And for whatever it is. And, many of us don't look at, I've got to forgive myself. Well, no, you don't have to. It's a choice. However, what if you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, love it, love it.
There's a new program out on television, and I don't really know the name of it, but the theme of it is taking women who do not like their bodies, do not like themselves, and having them get used to themselves being nude.
Yes,
and accepting it and liking it.
Daily, yes.
Yeah, I think that, I don't watch it, I've not seen it, I've only heard about it. I think that's a great idea. I tell people, put one of those full-length mirrors in your bedroom, dance around, telling yourself, I look pretty, I feel pretty, and just dance around. And they look at me and they go, huh?
Exactly. Well, I actually incorporate, and actually, let me retract. It's not Carson Daly who it is. I know it's Carson something on the Bravo Network who does that show. So we don't want to get that name incorrect. The looking in the mirror. Oh my gosh, I went to the I Can Do It conference in Vegas, and it's through Louise Hay, and Louise Hay has amazing books out there, amazing tools that I actually utilize in my practice with my clients. My clients go out and get the books, and we work the mirror. She has mirror exercises in there, and the power behind the mirror exercises of looking at yourself and accepting yourself and loving yourself. That when we get to that place of we can look at ourselves and just accept who we are, and that we all are a gift, and we all have a gift to offer. And if we can accept ourselves, that means we can then accept another. And then that means we can say yes to life and yes to living. If we don't accept ourselves, how in the heck are we going to be able to accept anyone else?
Right. And so a lot of my readings are totally based on people letting go of their past hurts, pains, angers, and guilt, liking themselves, loving themselves, not being afraid to say that you don't like something or it's not setting well in a very good way.
Yes, yes. Because if we don't determine, it's about going back and saying, who are we saying yes to? Are we saying yes to another before we say yes to ourselves, or are we saying no to ourselves? And judgment, yes, judgment is fear, and yes, it is. Judgment is also empowering when it comes from just assessing the situation. And assessing where we are. We need judgment. Fear only knows how to be fear. Love only knows how to be love. Hate only knows how to be hate. And the great thing about having a life coach is we support them in just becoming aware of how to utilize the different skills and the different energies that are out there. I know that's what I do with my clients.
Yeah, and
is for me, it's all about them evolving themselves to the next level in their life.
Which is all true. A lot of people go to different type readers or life coaches, and they want that life coach or reader to fix them. And one of my friends, who's also a reader, said, Nancy, remember that they don't need to be fixed like that. They're not really broken. You cannot glue them back together. They got to work on it.
Exactly.
They got to do it. And there's not a quick fix. Everybody wants that quick fix. They want to see, 25 years of whatever they've gone through gone the next day. And it's like, no, folks, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. It took you time to get there. It's going to take you a little bit of time to let go of it. But you will let go of it.
As much, yes, you will. And maybe not as much time as fear would tend to have some of us think.
Right.
And I think of a lot of my clients come to me and say, David, just tell me the answer. What is it? What's going to do it for me? And I'm like, I don't have the answer to what's going to work for you in your life. However, I've got tools that I know that have helped me in mine and that help my other clients and help my friends. So here you go. And really, as a life coach, for me, it's just about asking them questions. It's about being that sounding board, that listener, and asking their soul to come forward. It's I partner up with my client's soul and allow their soul to answer the questions and guide them. And it really, truly is a magical experience. And, I know I'm kind of taking it in a woo-woo, esoteric kind of way, yet it ends up being that. Many of my clients say how practical and how they feel so, and then we coach around this, but I feel so stupid because these are such easy things. And then they start putting the practice, and then boom, the shift and the manifestation that they have. And, I'm a big believer and practitioner of the law of attraction and working all that. And yeah, my clients are changing their lives, and they're doing the work. I just ask the questions.
Right, and which is what it should be. David, could you give out your website to the listeners, please?
Yes, my website is www.evolutionthenextlevel.com. So again, that's www.evolutionthenextlevel.com. There you can find out information on my services, and you can order my book, Conversations on Success, with Dr. John Gray and Tom Hopkins. And also you can email me, and you can request a free, no obligation introductory call. I give that to everybody. So you can really get a feel of what it's like, and you can connect with me, and you can learn about my new and upcoming dance companies that are beginning Wednesday, August 18th, that I'm very excited about. So, yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Contact me.
How did you decide to pick the title for your book?
Conversations on Success. I actually did not pick the title. The publishing company came to me and liked what I had to offer and said, we believe that this book, you would work very well in this book. The book consists of 11 hours, and we each have a chapter, and what it is, it's different success strategies, tools, skills to support people in building success for their lives. And they came to me, and it was at a time I wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, yet growing up the way I did, I wasn't great in school, if you will. Always thought, someday I'm going to have a book, but then fear would be like, you're too stupid to have a book. No one's going to want to hear anything that you have to say. You know nothing. You're a dancer. So when this opportunity came, I'm like, okay, yeah, it was me taking a baby step. It's a chapter. Okay, I'll try it on, like a shoe, see how it fits. And the day I received my contract, and is the day that actually my dog had passed away.
Aww.
And so for me, that was a beautiful sign, because I don't view death as I'm never going to see them again or anything of that nature. It was, okay, there's death and something else is being born. And it was the coolest experience. And might I say, yeah, fear was all over the place in my head and in my body, while I'm preparing the chapter and writing it up and everything. But it was amazing, and I'm in the process of writing my full book right now. So yeah.
And so the name of this one is Conversations for Success.
Conversations on Success, the 5th anniversary edition.
Okay.
Yes.
And then your website. I know
my website is evolutionthenextlevel.com. Okay. And you can get the book on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. However, if you get the book there, you will not get my cover. So each author has their own cover, which is really great and an amazing, little gift. And then if your listeners order the book through my website, they'll get an autographed copy as well. So
autographed copies are always nice. I wrote a book too, David, but I didn't want to write it, and I didn't write it. It was actually channeled to me through all my angels because they wanted it to come out really bad. It's called Raised by Angels, and what it is using my experiences as a self-help book for anybody else who reads the book. And it's kind of different. There's some stories in there, and there's colored pictures in mine because that just colored pictures made it look a little bit, prettier and nicer and very eye-catching. But it's funny because you said you didn't really want to do it. Who's going to listen to you? And I argued with my angels for years, and then all of a sudden they were just downloading me. I said, all right, already, if I do this, will you just let me sleep and will you just go away?
Universal 2x4, that water dripping, tick-tock, tick-tock, get up, do it. Yeah.
So
that's what I felt with starting this new dance company. It was like, oh, what am I going to be doing? I could lose everything. And isn't that what life's about? Being willing to take that risk.
It's talking about experience it.
Experience it. So many people that come to me are afraid of failure.
Well, but
and I believe we all are afraid of failure to a certain degree. However, it's not failure. It's, you learn from it. You get to grow from it. So what if we stop looking at it as failure?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It really needs to be looked at differently. But our human nature is to go in that negative way and, breaking through all of the learnings from society, religion, friends, family. People look at you and go, no, I will fail, and I don't want to look like a failure. And it's like, well, understand this. There's not a failure unless you attempt it. Okay?
Yes. If you don't attempt it, then maybe that's failure.
Yeah, because it's still just sitting there.
Come back around.
When you put
it will come back around.
When you put the new dance thing together, are you going to go on tour with it? What are you going to do with it?
Well, what it is, I love working with youth and like I said, through adults, and it's about an experience of dance. So it's about connecting and just living in the art form of dance. And we'll go to dance competitions. However, it's not about competing against another for us. It's about just being in the experience. We will go to many different conventions. It's something that I didn't have the opportunity as a young dancer. I didn't grow up in the convention competition world. So my training, yet very extensive. However, I didn't get, to study with the teachers in LA or anything, or New York, till I became older and adult, until I was actually choosing not to dance on stage anymore. And so we'll go to conventions, we'll go to competitions. We will, I'll be putting on another concert. I've produced and choreographed 2 of my very own concerts. My first one was called Lux, and which was actually inspired by, I went to an FFW workshop, Fearless Foundation workshop, and this was before I entered the coaching program. Mm-hmm. And it was facilitated by Rhonda Britton, who's an author and life coach. And the workshop inspired me, and she actually played a song. And when I heard the song, I just started getting visions of a concert. And so I emailed her asking her who it was, and she put me in contact with the artist. And she said, it's funny because when I put the song on, I started seeing you dance to it in my mind. So it must be. So I contacted him. He gave me the rights to use it. And then I put that concert on within a total of 3 months. First concert ever produced, and did it at the Vidham Theater in Chicago. And then a year later, I decided to put another concert on that I went to the Wheels workshop and was inspired because Rhonda said, David, how many shows have you produced? And I was like, 1. And my gut just went, it's like, okay, it's time for another one. Mm-hmm. And I came home and I was watching an episode of Oprah Winfrey that night, and it was when Hurricane Katrina happened. And I came home, and Oprah, her face on the TV was like, just do anything, do what you can do, just do what you can do. And here I am going, my God, I want to do something, and I have no money. I'm not anybody yet. What can I do? And I'm like, okay, well, you're creative. Okay, put a concert on. And so I put a full-fledged concert, choreographed, produced on in a matter of 3 weeks. Didn't give the world enough time. However, I did have many participants, many audience members, and it was a Hurricane Katrina fundraiser. And so the money that we got I split it. I went to Oprah Angels Network. Mm-hmm. And then part of it went to Ellen because she was doing the whole thing, mm-hmm. Ellen DeGeneres. Right. So I sent it off, and I produced. That was right at the time that I was accepted into the coaching program. So not only was I going basically to college, I decided to put a concert on, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing and a great experience, and I'm looking forward to my next one.
And you should. People have ideas, and they won't talk about them because they're so afraid that somebody's going to poo-poo it. And so, again, when I'm talking with people, I ask them, what would you like to do? Just what would you like to do? And a lot of people really have to sit there and try to debate with themselves about, should I say it? Okay? And so I will sit there and wait for a little response of some sort, and if they don't respond, then I'll just start naming some things like, would you like to take a trip to the ocean? Would you like to go on top of a mountain? You can put yourself there just in your mind. And if you can put yourself there in your mind, you can put yourself there in body.
Absolutely. The mind is a powerful thing, and, it goes back to the law of attraction. If we're not willing to ask, the universe doesn't hear us. the first law, if you will, of the universe is ask. Mm-hmm. It's just ask, pronounce what you want to do. And then, it will happen. It's, the universe will answer. And then, it's being willing to receive. It's being willing to receive whatever that receiving is, whether it be those silent little voices, intuition coming in saying, do this, like with your book, mm-hmm. do this, and, or, someone else, or the signs on the road even. What led me to coaching, I've always lived my life by signs, by following my intuition, and it's not led me wrong.
It doesn't, and that's what people struggle with, because we've been raised to think logical in a very logical world. But the problem is that this is an illogical world. And so for you to only try to stay with logic is not going to work. Where your own intuition, it's your God-given right to have that. It's your God-given right to use it. But people have to know that it's okay. Because unless they're told it's okay, they think that they have to do this logical thing and put everything in order, and it's the way it's going to turn out. And so I always tell people, get out of logic mind, get into your heart smart part, and follow through with it.
Yes, if I wouldn't have followed my heart, if I would have stayed in fear, I wouldn't be on the phone here right now with you. Intuition was like, email this person, email her, introduce yourself. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that universe gave me and that you're now giving me to connect with you. And that was just by following that voice, just following the voice within my heart. And when we do that, when we step, for me, my coaching practice is about aligning head and heart, humanity and spirituality, because we are human. We live on this planet, and we really have to know. Well, we don't have to, but we get the opportunity to embrace with and connect with other human beings and connect with our spirit. And hello, we have logic. Logic is what creates the steps of our life along with our heart. It's following your heart and using your head to determine and create. So,
which is all very true. There's a couple of people, David, who had sent me some quick emails, and there's a person who's on the phone line. So I'm gonna let the person on the phone line ask their question, and if you'd like to help answer it, that's great, and I appreciate. So if you have something to say after the person's talking, then don't be afraid to jump in there. Okay.
All right, great.
The person that's on the phone, her name is Andrea, and are you there?
Hi, Nancy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm listening to your conversation, and I've been working in that intuition thing, working on it for several years now. And today I actually had a person call me out of the blue for a phone interview, and the goal has been to get a job that I really want, or / career. So I'm just wondering, it didn't sound quite right. I'm wondering if you get a feeling for this, because I didn't feel bad about saying, no, that's not what I want, because she's really, giving me the salary was just not it, and it was a little bit out of my way, and it's a little challenging to get out that way anyway. So I just wondered, it'll still keep me in mind for other things, but she sort of decided that, maybe you can't do this or whatever. I'm just wondering, do you have a feeling about that, Nancy?
I think you did exactly the right thing, because the very first two cards up is a worry card and a defeat card. So if you have to worry about it, chances are it's not going to turn out the way you want. Okay. But then your next card is a whole new life beginning coming for yourself. All you got to do is keep yourself out or keep yourself talking, and then you come up with abundance of good things. Now, it may take another 3 months, but it will be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
David,
I check once in a while with my intuition. I'm working. It's
you
working.
You need to check with it all the time. David, would you like to add something?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't catch your name. What's your name again?
Andrea.
Hello, Andrea. Andrea, what I'm getting and what I invite you to do is write down, and I would say at least 100, write down a list of 100 skills that you possess and what you're passionate about. And that will guide you. Write down what you're good at, what you love doing. And I believe that will guide you.
And here's the thing, Andrea, it doesn't matter if it would sound funny to anyone else, as long as it sounds good to you.
Look at those skills, in that list, the list of 100, because we all possess at least 100 skills because we've made it this far. And look at that list and look for a theme within that list. And this job that you were going for, is it in a field that you want to be? Is it your niche? Is it your creativity coming through?
None of the above.
None of the above.
Then you made the right decision.
And you've made the decision that works for you. See, for me, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about right or wrong. Everything is right. Everything is perfect in this moment. It gives you an opportunity, this opportunity that was granted, that you're maybe stepping into, not to actually ask yourself those tough questions. What is it I want to do? And what am I worth? Because if we don't stand in our own worth, how can others see our worth? So I definitely really invite you to start practicing asking for what you want.
Okay.
And go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Well, thanks very much, both of you. I feel much better.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. We have a couple emails. So one is from Dorothy, and she writes, "It seems that my marriage has been a struggle. Been married for 17 years. What do you see for long term?" So do you want to give her a little thought real quick, and then I will add to it?
Well, in the marriage giving trouble, it's where is she connecting? I know in working with couples, when we get upset with ourselves and we're not happy with ourselves, we stop connecting with our mates. We start avoiding. And we don't want to deal with, let's say, the problem, the issue at hand. It's much easier to avoid it. And I know in working with couples, in the couples that I've with, they've become almost like roommates. And so that's the opportunity to actually re-embrace, if you will, the love, the innocence. Definitely I invite her to see the innocence within herself, and definitely see the innocence within her partner, her mate, if you will. And definitely, do what it takes. Ask herself what she wants. So that's my feedback for you.
Yeah, and what she's been doing is doing way too much thinking. I mean, like constant thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and not really thinking in a good way, but about all of the bad. So they really need...
Which then probably means she's blaming, whether it be blaming herself, blaming her mate, which then, when we get into the blaming and when we're thinking and thinking, we start blaming, we start criticizing, and then we start judging, which then means, opportunity for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
But that's how she comes up, is she's doing like way too much thinking, and they're not really doing enough talking.
Yes, communication.
Not doing enough talking. Mm-hmm. So if they can listen, Dorothy, if you guys can listen to each other and communicate with each other and really talk through it, not argue about it, because nobody wins with arguments. And then both of you kind of sit down and take another look at it and see what it is that you really want for long term. There is a possibility that you have outgrown each other and you don't want long term, but you won't know that until you talk through it. So talking is good.
And if I can add to that, definitely begin communicating with yourself. It all comes back to asking ourselves what we want. What do we want to do? What can we do a little bit more? How can we try, but how can we practice connecting a little bit more? We can sit here and say, well, just communicate more. However, they probably get the opportunity to actually possibly embrace some get a life coach, talk to some life coaches, and build your skills of communication.
Which I think is really very important. I don't think, David, that a lot of people really know how to talk through things.
Right?
Because we're not taught that as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of think, well, something's going to happen. It's just going to happen. But if we were just taught as children to really talk through things, then life really would not turn out so hard or feel like it's so hard.
Yeah.
Because the energy wouldn't be the same. It would be a much better
energy. Absolutely. I'm working with a male right now who, wasn't talking about his feelings, not to generalize, however, with men, a lot of men, and women as well, yet with men, we don't talk about our feelings, we're strong, I'm a man, and here now this client is really opening up and speaking what he feels and expressing himself and no longer viewing himself or others as weak. And so if we just start speaking our wants and start sharing our dreams, you'll be amazed at what happens in your life, because what you're doing is you're connecting. Mm-hmm. And it's all about connecting. That's the fundamental of everything. Connecting to energy, connecting to the vision, connecting to opportunities. It's amazing. And we're afraid of connecting because we're afraid of what others will think. And get that out of our mind. Mm-hmm. Who cares really what others think? Because we really won't know what others think until we actually try, until we actually step out there and say, okay, I'm going to practice this, and I'm not going to judge myself. And if others are judging us, and if others, say things, because, hello, it's the world and it happens, well, that just means they're in their fear as well. Mm-hmm. Fear, we all have fear.
Yeah, so. That's part of our human makeup, unfortunately. We have another
person again.
I said that's part of the human makeup is fears.
Yep.
We have another
person. Go ahead.
Yep. Her name is Neela, I think. So, are you there?
Hi, my name is actually Naila.
Naila. That's a very pretty name.
Naila. Oh, beautiful. Hello, Naila.
Hi, it's Naila.
Okay.
Naila. Okay.
So basically, I wanted to know, I am talking to a new person, and he has a lot going on in his life right now, and I just want to know if I should just take a step back, or what should I do about it?
What would you like to tell her, David?
Well, tell me a little bit more. You're seeing this new person, and what are you embracing the moments? Are you connecting? What do you mean by it?
There's not really a lot of moments. He's very busy, and it seems like there's like a lot of chaos in his life right now. He has a lot of responsibilities. He has a lot of responsibilities that he has taken on himself. And, of course, I want to be there to support him. And I really like him. He really likes me. But I don't really feel like there's any room on his plate for me. Yeah.
Have you, and here's what's coming through for me, the question I want to ask is, have you had a conversation with him on where your relationship is and where you are in each other's life? Have you sat down and really just had a talk?
We have
that
had
would be
talks.
a no.
Well, we have had talks, actually, but, I mean,
but
he gives me mixed signals. And he's actually still in a relationship. And right, the relationship is basically on the tail end. It's not, but there's a child involved. It's not his child, but he feels like that's his responsibility.
Okay, I would like to add something real quick for her.
Go for it. Yeah.
Here's the thing. No matter what kind of relationship a person is in, whether it's a marriage, a boyfriend, girlfriend, boy, girl, doesn't matter, just friends. When that relationship starts to go sour or start to end, the person or people that are involved with it really need space before they go jumping into another relationship, because chances are if they don't take the space and get reacquainted with themselves, they are going to bring a lot of that same energy in from that relationship that they're trying to leave, because there's not been enough time for them to clear it out. So my suggestion for this is for you to give a lot of space to this. And he's not a bad guy from what I'm seeing, but the problem is that you're trying to be part of this energy that he has no energy for. And it's going to end up hurting you if you keep trying to do that. And I'm not saying don't see him, but I would really not try to zero in on him as being a partner attached to the hip, per se, at some point in time here soon. I would really leave my doors and windows open for other people to come in. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt by this, because he's been made to feel guilty in this relationship with that child that's not his, and I'm sure he cares for that child, and he's made to feel guilty because that other person that he's with knows how to do that to him. And as long as she's doing that to him, you are going to have a tough time with fitting anything onto his plate. And he really needs to get his plate cleared, get to know who he is again, accept who he is again, and then start to look for somebody to meet, to get to know, and then possibly end up in a relationship with.
Yeah, I mean, if he's looking for a wife, I told him, I said, how are you looking for a wife and you still have a girlfriend? It doesn't make any sense. But
see, he's not thinking straight. He's probably thinking with the wrong head, to be honest with you. Okay?
Yes. And you know, what's coming through for me, now that story's a little bit clearer for us, is, Naila, I invite you to write down a list. And, there's a little bit of work here, yet it's going to be amazing. Write down at least 25, characteristics, traits that you want in a mate. And then I would narrow it down to 10, and then narrow it down to your top 5 non-negotiables of what characteristics, what skills, what traits, if you will, you want your mate to have, what you're not willing to negotiate. Because what I'm getting is also there's an opportunity to create some personal self-boundaries and to really embrace the essence of who you are and your integrity and believing in yourself and your worth and believing that you are worth so much.
Do you understand all of that?
So there's my invitation to you.
Yeah, I do understand. It's just I really am, you know what I mean? I've already put myself out there, my feelings and my emotions and everything like that.
Yeah.
But see, you gotta back off.
Yeah, when fear comes in, and that's how fear likes to play, is through our feelings and our emotions. Our feelings, but I feel I love him, or I love her. Well, how much do you love yourself? And how are you loving yourself?
Well,
and when go ahead.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually like working out. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to take better care of myself. So, I mean, in the process, I'm just looking at this relationship like, what's going on? What's going on here? But I really, because my heart is so big, I always console the other person. He actually just had a death in the family, and he has to go back to the place where he just came from. And I was trying to make plans to go out with him this weekend, but it seems like every time I make plans, it doesn't work. And
that should be a real good indication for you to let go of it and back off, because he's not going to make time for you like you think and like you hope. And your big heart, the big heart that you have, it's okay to be nice. It's okay to help people, but it is not okay to be roll over, play dead nice.
No, because then we're allowing someone else unconsciously, possibly, or even consciously, to beat us up and treat us as though we're not worthy. And then we start questioning ourselves, and we start thinking, what's wrong with me? This relationship that you are in, it's your gift and your perfect opportunity to learn another level about yourself and what you will basically put up with and what you won't. So it's a great opportunity for you to practice stepping into what you're worth and setting boundaries for yourself.
Oh, once I do that and I let him know, do you see him changing?
No. I don't.
No. No.
See, and you're afraid that he is going to run away. But he does not have room to make a change right now because he's too busy and too much chatter going on in his head. But see, you're the one who's going to end up getting hurt from this if you don't start putting boundaries on it. Okay? So that's probably the best advice we can give you. And again, you will have to make your own choice, but I don't think David is wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong. So you need to kind of take a little step back and know that he is not the be-all, end-all for you at this point, okay?
You are the be-all, end-all. You are for yourself, so.
All right? I don't know if she's still there. Maybe not, but anyway.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling anyway. Anyway, you know what, David, our time is just about up, so could you give out your website again and the name of your book again, please?
Yes, my website is www.evolutionthenextlevel.com. And again, www.evolutionthenextlevel.com. And my book is called Conversations on Success, the 5th Anniversary Edition. And you can also Google me and spell my name correctly for you. It's because it's different. It's D-A-V-E-D. So D-A-V-E-D-B-E-C-K.
Great.
So,
David, it's been great having you on.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me.
You're very welcome. I'd like to thank you, the listeners, and the callers. Sorry we didn't please everybody, but may God bless all of you. Have a great week, and really, take care of yourself. Bye now.
Hey everybody, this is James Martinez from The Cash Flow Show. I want to ask you one question and one question only. You're ready to change your life. Now, as you begin to think about that question, how many of you are swimming in credit card debt, tired of your credit cards controlling your life, behind on your payments, struggling to make ends meet, worried about your financial well-being? You're going to end that now. Enough is enough. This is hot. Are you ready to feel good? Now? That's right. Call our 800 number and listen to the 12-minute overview. It explains who we are and what we do to end your credit card debt. Leave your name and number after the message and do it today. Call 888-213-7655. That's 888-213-7655. Freedom is a phone call away. Away for you to feel good now. 888 888-213-7655. 888-213-7655.
Hidden deep within you is an unstoppable power. If you want to deepen your relationships, supercharge your productivity, and enjoy more life energy than you've felt in years, then visit LetNothingStopYou.org to learn more about Secrets of Being Unstoppable by Guy Finley. This new audio program will give you the knowledge you need to enjoy the happiness and success your heart longs for. That's Guy Finley's Secrets of Being Unstoppable at LetNothingStopYou.org.
New River Press is proud to sponsor Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Benjamin Eno. We offer the best in unusual New Age books, along with 3 great books by your host, Paul Eno. New River Press offers the new blockbuster on animal communication, Hear All Creatures, The Journey of an Animal Communicator by Karen Anderson, and experience 41 Signs of Hope, the inspiring book by Dave Kane. And don't miss Shadows on My Shift, real-life stories of a psychic EMT by psychic medium Sherry Lee Devereaux, Achieve radio talk show host of Opening Your Intuitive Eyes. Available from New River Press, publishers of unusual books. Visit newriverpress.com, amazon.com, or your favorite bookstore.
Listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.